Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the F4U-4B, the Canon Corsair that was released in patch 1.71, sitting at 5.7 battle rating, pretty close to its little brother the 4, which we have released earlier this week. Now this plane has about the same flight model as that one, so let's go over it. It has a good dive speed just like before, sitting at the same red line speed of 840 kilometers an hour. It also has good speed on altitude with 500 kilometers an hour on 4500 meters and 470 on 6500 meters. Very nice. It has good acceleration and good energy retention in the horizontal. Now if you look at the firepower, of course this is a different thing compared to the 4, which has 650 cals and which was a little bit frustrating due to the wobble the Corsairs have this patch. The excellent firepower on the 4B makes this a little bit less of a problem, because with the 4x 20mm AN M3 cannons with 984 rounds, this plane really has a lot of stopping power. Excellent guns, excellent cannons, and you really have a nice ammo load as well on it, so you can even spray and pray a little bit if you have to. I don't recommend it, but you can. And this stopping power makes sure that if you have a hit, it usually kills the plane, thus making the wobble that you can have, because it doesn't 100% roll off central axis, it can deal with that a little bit more. Of course we don't want that, and I definitely hope that Gaijin will get that out of the flight model again, but it is manageable more in this plane compared to the 4 because of the cannons and the stopping power that this plane has, which is really fantastic. It also has the good roll rate just like the 4, and the decent turn between 300 and 550 kilometers an hour. Now the climb rate seems to be slightly better than the 4, which is nice. It can use that. It still requires some side climbing though, this plane. I did a little bit of testing on the flaps and they all definitely break off at 530 kilometers an hour, but if you make heavy elevator move before then, it can already break off at around 430, 450. But it is not guaranteed, and it is just a possibility. Now the definite cons on this plane are the energy retention in the vertical. It does lose speed a lot in vertical maneuvers, and that is a downside. You got to be aware of that. You got to be strict in your booming zooming in this plane. Thank God this one has cannons, and it can definitely finish planes off in the first pass, so you definitely don't need to worry about too many maneuvers most of the time, unless you get jumped of course, but then it is capable of the same defensive maneuvers as I showed you in the video on the 4. Now the overheating is also an issue on this plane. It seems to be less severe, but I think that is due to me keeping more control of the climb speed of the plane, not letting it drop too far, and thus it overheats less fast, because that's what they have on certain models right now, where if you climb a lot below the optimal climb speed, you will overheat quicker. So if you keep that in mind, the overheating is better. But it's still there, let's say. You still gotta cool the engine here and there. Now the control stiffening is also still there above 550 and especially above 700, but if you keep that into mind, you will definitely be able to pulling out in time, like here for example, keeping the speed under control, turning a little bit, and make sure you don't get to speeds this close to the ground of 700 or above. Now like I said, the wobble is also there on this plane. It seems to be there on all the Corsairs. I've had some conversations on the 4 video in the comment sections with my subscribers and with people interested in the wobble, and they tested out on other Corsairs as well, It seems to be there on all of them, although it seems to be absent right now on the Japanese Corsair, which doesn't seem to have that wobble. The not rolling 100% of the central axis. It is a problem, but for me the problem is less in this plane because of the stopping power on this plane. The cannons really help with avoiding the hits, let's say, which is quite nice. Now in that first match, that was actually the very first match we played, and this is actually the second match I played. You really get instant better results in this plane because of the cannons. It's really down to that. These kind of shots in the 4 would have been more problematic, because if you would get the wobble a little bit, then you would get hits only. With the 50 cals it is more important to be precise, and with this one a few hits with the 20s usually finish off a plane, rip off a wing, and yeah, it can definitely finish planes off much quicker. Now we barely move here, we still have some of the wobble, but we still get that plane with the 20s. And we're going after the plane of which we already took off the wing to finish him off. Quickly checking the scoreboard to see how many planes were still left. We are quickly catching him as we came from a dive from altitude. The energy retention is showing itself real nicely here. Only dropping speed very little. No planes in view here, and we're keeping a nice speed. We're gonna check out the enemy airfield. We were really flying around there trying to find this doe. Somebody eventually used an Avenger, and this guy was already going towards our base. He killed one of the bases, but it was not the end for our tickets, fortunately. Now already 2 of my allies have reached this guy, and we're peppering him. The F4U is really putting him on fire here. I see that. I decide not to shoot and take it up into the vertical to pull off, but the fire went off. Let's see if it will crash into the ground. The doe manages not to crash into the ground, and I find this to be a fair target again. So here we go, and we do get that kill, securing our 3rd kill in this match as well. Taking it up into the vertical, and actually this was the last target in this match, making it another 3 kill match. Pretty nice. Really a breath of fresh air compared to the 50 cal version for me. Really getting better results in this thing. Final blow, terror of the sky and bulletproof. 37,000 silver lines and 3600 research points. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now that was a much better experience than the 4, I have to say. The flight model is very much close to identical. The climb rate on this one seems to be a little bit better. But for the rest it seems to be pretty much the same, with very minute differences, I'm sure. But I leave that to the number crunchers, the people who test and test and test. I have just tested it on the apparent things, and it looks to be really similar to the 4. Boom and zoomer, pure sun, and you have to be careful in the vertical. The overheating is still real, but I think it is more manageable if you keep it a little faster than usual, so that it doesn't overheat as quickly. The wobble is still there though. It doesn't roll 100% off central axis, and that is something that is less of a problem, thank God, because the stopping power of these guns is so much better than the 650 cals. You do finish off planes even though sometimes you wobble. These cannons are capable of avoiding that problem. Sometimes of course you will still have that you will miss a target because of the wobble, but it happens less often. Doesn't mean to say that the wobble can just stay on this plane. Of course I want it removed. I want the plane to be more stable. It feels a little bit shaky right now, not a completely stable platform for its guns, and I hate that when a plane has that. But it is something that is in the Corsair's flight model at the moment, and hopefully they will remove it because I love flying the Corsairs. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.